A question, like, is it true that it can be, you get ADHD out of genetics?
That's a very interesting question. There's always a debate about that, like
Yeah.
how much is nurture, how much is nature.
Yeah.
The research shows that there's a very strong genetic component. Some say as high as 70% or above.
Okay.
So the chances are that if a child has ADHD, you want to look further up the family tree to see whether one or two parents has it, and so on. So like in my situation, I was diagnosed a year after my daughter. And in our community in Singapore, many of the parents with ADHD were diagnosed after the children. So then the question begs, right? Perhaps, when a child is diagnosed, should there be certain questions or support given to the parents? Because if the parent is unaware that they
Right.
might have it, and there's issues about consistency in parenting, how can they consistently support the child? So we always talk about the analogy of the airplane safety video. You put the oxygen mask on yourself before the child. But that also includes an appreciation then. Let's say as a woman with ADHD, right? Many of us could be mothers, for example, right? I have to self-manage some of the issues that I'm having, challenges with, but I also have to take care, usually with the main caregiver of a child with ADHD.
Okay.
So think about the double or even triple whammy. And with women, there's hormonal issues too,
Yes,
right?
of course.
From the menstruation, the pregnancy, postpartum, to like perimenopausal, menopausal, which is a lot of talk about nowadays, right? So there's going to be a lot of different things that traditionally it's been seen more like a male kind of condition.
Yes.
Again, we know that at a younger age, boys are diagnosed 3 to 4 times more than girls, right? And so on. So are the diagnostic criteria capturing, this?
Right.
What about all the different approaches? And the other challenge is that women, a lot of them tend to have the more inattentive type of presentation or even a combination. But because of that, it may not be obviously external, the symptoms,
Okay.
right? Which is even a higher chance to be missed compared to, let's say, especially small boys. If they're hyperactive, they disrupt the classroom. They get flagged by teacher,
Okay.
right? Which
Yeah.
explains the higher diagnosis rate too.
Right.
Whereas girls would be more internalized, so they won't be disruptive, but they may be themselves struggling quietly. And girls tend to be a little bit more culturally compliant, guai, as they say, right, in
Yeah.
Cantonese. So because of that, the diagnosis usually happens at a stage where the scaffolding or the structures that they built for themselves fall. And that we saw a lot of that during COVID. So if you look around at the data worldwide,
Yeah.
a spike in adults and particularly women getting diagnosed with ADHD.